that revival is referred to as the prayer revival, and often the revival of 57 and 58 is traced to a prayer meeting that occurred in New York City, though I think it's probably a little simplistic to completely trace it all to that one prayer meeting because some of these things were happening in other parts of the world at the same time in the English-speaking world. You also had, in 1857 and 58, revival in Ireland and Northern Ireland and in Wales and in other parts of the English-speaking world. And of course, we had the ministry of Charles Spurgeon in that period in history. But certainly it was a catalyst. As this man who was I think he had been a member. I don't have all the details in front of me, but of Alexander's church there in the Presbyterian church where he pastored in New York, and then he had become a city missionary for the Dutch Reformed Church in New York with the effort to try to reach a particular community in the city, and it was in the context of that effort that he started this prayer meeting. He announced that he'd be meeting there at a certain time to pray, and I think the first time that he went, there were maybe 6 people who came, but then it started growing into hundreds, and then I think it grew into thousands of people that were praying, and it spread, and really there was a great revival that happened in New York, and that really spread throughout the entire country. Obviously, that is an example that is a great encouragement to us to pray. Think that prayer, it's interesting to me, prayer and its connection to revival is an interesting topic because I think you can sometimes say that a spirit of prayer, a real spirit of prayer in the churches, is it a cause of revival or is it a sign of revival? Evidence of a work of the Spirit. And I think, we don't want to treat prayer as like it's some kind of, magical formula that, if we start having prayer meetings, we're going to have revival. But obviously, God has tied his works in the world, the expansion of his kingdom, the salvation of sinners, our own personal sanctification and walk with Christ to our prayers and to the prayers of God's people. So if we ask not, we should not be surprised if we have not. One of the things I try to emphasize, and churches need to have prayer meetings.